GM has 95,000 vehicles sitting on empty lots waiting for chips. Let's talk about it. I saw an Instagram post this morning and it was really backing up this article, and I'll leave a link to the article here in this video just so you guys can check it out. It's very fascinating, but the CEO of GM announced that 95,000 cars are just sitting on empty lots as they wait for chips. They were hoping that this chip shortage would ease up in the later months of this year, but Intel and others are projecting that this chip shortage is going to go into 2024. So I have a couple thoughts around this. Number one, the frustrating thing is the EPA, the emissions, whoever you want to place the blame on, electric cars take vastly way more chips to produce than an internal combustion engine car. So not only is the EPA, choking off the production of ICE cars or making these manufacturers produce electric cars, but they're starving themselves because all of the cars that they're building for the electric vehicles are getting a lot of these chips, and so there's still a chip shortage. So that's frustrating, number one. Number two, what's really frustrating in terms of just these times is, I got my Camaro, I could tell it was sitting on a lot. I mean, it had stains in the paint, it had several things that needed to be cleaned up on it. You guys are spending your hard-earned money on cars that are sitting on empty lots. They're exposed to all of the elements and they're parked very close to other cars. Birds do their business on it. Any type of weather, anything that they're exposed, they're just baking in the sun. You guys are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on cars that are baking in the sun. Now, GM had a decision to make. They could have just halted the production lines, but they decided to keep them going. So it's very likely, and what's interesting for me is, how many cars in 2023 are going to be labeled as 2022s or even 2021s for that matter. Because I see so many comments on here from people that say, hey, I don't have my VIN number. I don't have, they haven't accepted my order. Well, maybe it's already built. Maybe it's already complete, but they don't want to, tilt their hand in that, they don't have a chip for it and it's just sitting on a lot. So just some interesting things to think through. Another theory, after kind of seeing what GM said about this, maybe I've changed my tune a little bit, but what if these auto manufacturers don't want to flood the market with a whole bunch of new cars? Because if they flood the market with a whole bunch of new cars, it's going to bring the pricing down. So remember, these dealerships are charging markups. The manufacturer doesn't benefit from that. But at the end of the day, the dealers, they're allowed to kind of charge what they want. But what if the major manufacturers are stopping production or slowing production so they can keep the demand high and the supply low? Because if they flood the market with a whole bunch of cars, therefore there's going to be a lot more cars sitting on lots. Because you have to remember, the auto manufacturers have done very well in this too, because they're selling cars for sticker. They're getting, record profits as well. So I don't know how true that is. It doesn't make sense for GM to produce a whole bunch of cars and have sitting on lots. It frustrates me if I were buying one of those because, if you're like me and you spend all this money and you want to have a good car, you need to take care of it. So guys, it's so important. Get a paint correction when you guys do get your car. But yeah, GM, 95,000 cars sitting on lots. Think about it.